Tonight, terror alert, President Buhari urges all to be vigilant, assures adequate security.
What we are glad about now is that Nigerians themselves are asking for this removal because people now understand what we've been saying.
Finance Minister sets the pace for 2023 budget defense.
Sincerely, I will not sit down and lie to you that we will complete the Jakarta before we leave office.
Federal government announces a twist in the promised delivery date of Ajaokuta Steel Company.
Beyond vote buying, there must also be decisive action.
Also tonight, INEC rates riot acts on negative campaign and vote trading by political parties. Hello and a warm welcome to the Network News on NTA. I'm Elizabeth Omori, and I'm not reading alone tonight. Michael Olale joins us from the city of Lagos. Now get active by following this newscast live on our website nta.ng/live, NTA News Now on Twitter, as well as other social media platforms displayed on the screen. We begin with security matters. President Muhammadu Buhari has assured Nigerians of adequate security as security agencies work round the clock to ensure safety of lives and property. This is coming against the background of security alert issued by some foreign countries to their nationals in Nigeria. The president urges citizens not to panic but remain calm, as Nigeria is not exception to having terror threats listed in foreign government's travel advisory to citizens. The president's statement also pointed out a high likelihood of terror attacks in many Western European nations, and the advice to their respective citizens for travel contains same warning. While urging security agencies to be extra vigilant, President Muhammadu Buhari commends their efforts for the recent turnaround in the nation's security and advises them not to let down their guard as the festive period approaches. He expressed optimism that the nation will emerge victorious against the current challenges following ongoing efforts of security and intelligence agencies with the active support of the civilian population. President Muhammadu Buhari is back in Abuja after a 5-day official visit to the Republic of Korea. The president arrived at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport about 6 o'clock Friday morning. He was received by his Chief of Staff, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, FCT Minister Mohammed Musa Bello, Inspector General of Police Usman Alkali Baba, Director General, Department of State Services Yusuf Magaji Bichi, and other senior government officials. While in the Republic of Korea, the president attended the first World Bio Summit aimed at boosting global cooperation in the development of vaccines in preparation for future pandemics, reflecting on lessons learned from COVID-19. He also met separately with the Korean leader, Speaker of the National Assembly, and captains of strategic industrial concerns. Consequently, a multi-million-dollar quick fix project agreement was signed for the rehabilitation of Kaduna refinery between the NNPC and South Korea's Daewoo Engineering and Construction Company. Special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, described the visit as highly successful.
And I say it again, very successful. It's a trip that is worth its weight in gold. The main purpose of the trip was to take part in the World Bio Summit. Mr. President made his point there. He spoke to the world about the inequity in vaccine availability and distribution after the COVID pandemic came. And he stressed the need for Africa, Nigeria particularly, to be involved in the manufacture of vaccines. Then you will see that apart from that main purpose of the summit, he also held many other bilateral meetings. He met with the president of South Korea, he met with the former Secretary General of the UN, he met with Daewoo Industries, he met with Samsung Heavy Industries. It was a very successful trip. Most heartwarming, perhaps, was the signing of the agreement between Daewoo Industries and the NNPC Limited on the turnaround of Kaduna Refinery. That's MD who is working on Warri Refinery. So they are also getting engaged with Kaduna Refinery now. And the target is that before the middle of next year, that refinery will be bringing up fuel for Nigerians to use. So I think by and large, it was a very successful visit.
The 23 budget. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning Zainab Ahmed says Senate will need to invite the Central Bank of Nigeria to get more clarifications on the planned Naira redesign. She stated this while appearing before the committee to defend the 2023 budget proposal of her ministry. National Assembly correspondent Dayo Munshola reports.
The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning Zainab Ahmed and her team are here as part of the statutory function of a ministry to the legislature. But the committee decided to seek further clarification on the issue of the new policy of the nation's apex bank concerning the design of Naira notes.
So, Honorable Minister, what do you think? One, as to the timing of this CBN policy, and two, as to whether or not this is something that needs to be done at this point.
We were not consulted. It was an announcement that we had. And I've seen.
Okay, you two, you just saw the press release like every other party.
Part of the reasons that was advocated is that's one of the ways to mop up liquidity to manage inflation. But there are also consequences that we're also looking at. What would the consequences be? There will be some benefits, but there will be some challenges.
The Senate committee also sought clarifications on payments of subsidies.
We are thinking that in view of the challenges we are facing, the revenue shortfall in particular, isn't it time for us to consider withdrawal of subsidy?
Our petroleum product we imported in Nigeria, some are taken to Burkina Faso, to Côte d'Ivoire, to other countries, and all those products we are paying subsidy on them.
What we are glad about now is that Nigerians themselves are asking for this removal because people now understand what we've been saying, that the benefit that we think the fuel subsidy is having for the people is not actually benefiting the people.
When the Acting Accountant General of the Federation faced the committee, issues relating to benefits accruable to the nation from the remitter platform was the focus of the discourse. From the National Assembly, Dayo Munshola, NTA News.
Let's talk power generation. Additional 700 megawatts of electricity will be added to the national grid from the Zungeru Hydro Power Plant as work on the project is being rounded off for inauguration in the first quarter of 2023. Minister of Power Abubakar Aliyu is keeping close watch on the project to ensure timely delivery. Joshua Ojito reports.
A milestone for the generation arm of the power sector in Nigeria as Zungeru Hydro Power Plant comes on stream with 700 megawatts of electricity. 3 out of the 4 turbines in the plant completed, with the remaining 1 unit to be ready in December this year.
Non-load testing has been done for the 3. We are good to go.
Presently, it is 96.5% complete. The transmission line is being connected to the national grid, which will be hopefully be completed in November.
We have demonstrated commitment in terms of peaceful partnership with the federal government in this regard.
Construction of 30 kilometers transmission line from the plant to Triple Point substation in Gusase, Niger State is nearing completion.
Very soon, they will finish the wires and connect to this place so that the whole loop is finished. By December, we should be able to complete the whole system. First quarter of next year, we'll come here with Mr. President to come and celebrate the commissioning of 700 megawatts of carbon-free electricity into the national grid, inshallah.
Minister of Power Abubakar Aliyu is keeping contractors on their toes, insisting December deadline is sacrosanct. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Ajaokuta Steel Company will not be functional under the present administration. Minister of Mines and Steel Development Olamilekan Adegbite stated this at a meeting in Abuja in preparations ahead of the Nigerian Mining Week coming up November. Mia Ogidi tells us more.
Ajaokuta Steel Company, Mines Ministry's flagship project, but for more than 40 years, the flag is not flying high at the sides. If promises were to complete a project, Ajaokuta Steel Company would have long become operational.
Within the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, before he leaves office in 2023, that we should achieve Ajaokuta by the grace of God.
A confident minister there in July 2020.
One remains standing within the national.
August 2022, the minister's strong confidence in completing Ajaokuta Steel Company again was redoubled with the inauguration of National Steel Council, flanked by the finance minister.
And now we're at the closing line, just to press tape, and Ajaokuta will emerge better and stronger without any encumbrance.
Now, the story of Ajaokuta Steel Company can best be related to the famous Abiku poem by J.P. Clark, October 27, 2022. The Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Olamilekan Adegbite, finally surrenders.
Sincerely, I will not sit down and lie to you that we will complete Ajaokuta before we leave office, but the process to making sure Ajaokuta has a solid future has started.
It is obvious Ajaokuta Steel Company, a burden in waiting for the next administration. We will complete Ajaokuta Steel Company, a big question that can only be answered by a big heart. Mia Ogede, NTA News.
And in other news, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says the successful hosting of the UNESCO Media and Information Week in Abuja is an indication that Nigeria is indeed safe. The minister stated this at the closing of the Media and Information Week in Abuja. Anthony Forson reports.
The minister said the huge success of the 2022 Global Media and Information Literacy Week, with the first-hand experience of guests from all over the world, is a clear testimony of the organizational ability and warmth of Nigerians.
The successful hosting of an international event in a week marked by petrifying terror alerts is also a testament to the great efforts of our security forces in keeping residents of our capital city and indeed our country safe, despite the antics of terrorists who are continually plotting to destabilize our nation's peace and security.
The minister added that Nigeria has made history with the adoption of the Abuja Declaration document on global financing and media information literacy, an imperative to fight against disinformation and build trust.
Given the frightening dimension of the impact of the surge of disinformation across the globe on the relationship between the government and the governed, institutions, communities, religious organizations, etc., there is a need to forge a common front to confront this menace by advancing a global funding to deal with the issue of disinformation.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, in his video message, called on member nations to come up with policies that will build confidence so that people can make choices. Equally, via video, UNESCO's Assistant Director General for Communication and Information, while commending Nigeria for making history through the successful hosting of the Media and Information Literacy Week, said UNESCO is working to create suitable information ecosystem. Therefore, member nations must ensure they create the necessary atmosphere that will make the declaration workable. Nigeria's ambassador and permanent representative to UNESCO, Hajo Sani, expressed satisfaction with a firm commitment that Nigeria is on the right path.
The Global Media and Information Literacy Week 2022, we all stand with UNESCO. And for what? For change. And we are going to make all the necessary changes required to do away with misinformation, disinformation, and fake news in our own capacity.
Media and information literacy is key to rebuilding trust among citizens, audiences, national institutions, the media, and digital platforms.
With these being carried along as the document have them in focus in Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
You're watching the network news on NTA. Let's take some messages. The news continues shortly. You're still watching the network news on NTA. Ministry of Foreign Affairs is to meet with the ambassador of the United Arab Emirates in Nigeria on the issue of visa ban. The Minister of State Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Zubair Dada, said this during a meeting with the Chairman House Committee on Science and Technology. He added that following pleas for clemency from some quarters, the ministry will also take up the issue of the Nigerian sentenced in Dubai, Ms. Dunchila, for actions that contravene social media laws.
She has made a mistake. Is there any way the Nigerian government can please, for the sake of our parents and all of us gathered here, intervene in this matter so that justice will be tempered with mercy?
We want to hear firsthand, as the ambassador of the United Arab Emirates, to tell us what precisely is the position of his government on this matter of denial of visa to Nigeria. So it's good that we are going to take up this matter. Like earlier observed, through diplomatic channels. That is the basic minimum we can do. That's what we're here to do.
Let's talk politics. With the implementation of the new Electoral Act, there's hope that the outcome of the 2023 general elections will reflect the will of the citizens. Chairman, Inter-Party Advisory Council IPAC, expressed this when a delegation from the ECOWAS pre-election on a fact-finding mission to Nigeria visited the council in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
An ECOWAS delegation on the fact-finding mission on Nigeria's preparedness ahead of the 2023 polls. Former chairman of Ghana Electoral Commission for 22 years, Kwadu Afarikian, led the delegation. Here, the team is interfacing with the umbrella body of all political parties to ensure politics is played according to the rules.
Dialogue among yourself and dialogue with the election commission. And if you go and ask something to be done, let's make sure that a lot of the parties agree that it will be done. And then you must have reasons why it should be done.
IPAC Chairman Yabagi Yusuf Sani urged ECOWAS to continue to show interest to ensure that the elections were free and fair.
We're happy that INEC is doing quite a lot in terms of bringing to bear all that is required to ensure that we have credible, peaceful, reliable, and all-inclusive elections.
The council promised genuine collaboration with other stakeholders towards a better election. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
29 political support groups of the All Progressives Congress, Jos South local government area of Plateau State, say they're resolved to give maximum support to Tinubu Shettima candidature for total victory during the 2023 general elections will bring economic prosperity to the nation. This was at the APC's stakeholders' engagement to mobilize support and ensure victory of the party during the polls. Likisu Nuhu reports.
Ahead of the 2023 polls, supporters of the All Progressive Congress came out in their numbers to show support for the Tinubu Shettima movement.
We are definitely going to deliver for Tinubu Shettima ticket come 2023. 10% of the state ITR to address the economic prosperity of the youth, the people with disability. If you listen to his programs, they are progressive. They are programs that are inclusive. They are programs that have human development elements.
Tinubu Shettima, they already have collateral. They have something to show.
Other speakers in their remark at the event lauded the various groups for aligning with the APC, promising that once successful at the polls, they will enjoy more dividends of democracy. They urge Nigerians to dwell on issues that will further unite the country. In Jos, Ilkis Nuhu, NTA News.
And the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party and former Vice President of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, on Thursday arrived Washington, D.C., United States, on a working visit. A statement from the former Vice President's media advisor, Paul Ibe, says the visit will afford the PDP presidential candidate the opportunity of high-level engagements aimed at setting the pace for building an economically stronger and more secured Nigeria. It adds that Atiku will be in the U.S. for a week-long engagement to share his vision for Nigeria with U.S. community, business communities, and young Nigerian professionals in North America. Meanwhile, Presidential Campaign Council of the Labour Party has been inaugurated with a mandate to ensure victory in the 2023 general elections. Chairman of the party, Julius Abure, is optimistic that the massive support the presidential campaign candidate enjoys is enough to win the election. David Ire reports.
The major mandate of the Campaign Council is to mobilize and sensitize Nigerians to vote for the party and its presidential candidate in the 2023 general election. The leadership of the party acknowledges the Herculean nature of the task, but believes that exploring the goodwill the Peter Obi candidacy enjoys among Nigerians will guarantee victory in the long run.
We must all go back to our respective wards and units because politics, they say, is local. The work is not in the cities. Where we need to work hard is in the villages, it's in the interior, it's in the rural areas.
Every member who's a member of this campaign council will deliver his state and hear our number. Ladies and gentlemen, we need mobilization. We have to go back and mobilize.
The presidential campaign will be flagged off this Saturday in Nasarawa State. In Abuja, David Ire, NTA News.
Political parties and candidates making negative comments during campaigns are to be arrested, while those who engage in vote trading during elections have EFCC and ICPC to contend with. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu gave the warning at an interagency consultative meeting on election security.
Beyond vote buying, there must also be decisive action against negative mobilization, incitement, and violence during the electioneering campaign. It is exactly 1 month since the commencement of campaign by political parties on 28 September 2022. Yet, the incidence of physical attacks on supporters and destruction of campaign materials across the country is worrisome. We should tackle this smoke before it snowballs into a major inferno. The effective enforcement of our electoral laws is the best way to deal with the menace. We should work together to ensure the arrest and prosecution of violators of the provisions of especially sections 92 to 93 of the Electoral Act 2022.
While security agencies strategize new measures to counter the rising wave of violence in the polity, the NSA hope that the second phase of the signing of peace accord by the National Peace Committee, scheduled for January 2023, will be fruitful in de-escalating the violent trend.
Let's turn attention to energy matters. Akwa Ibom State has joined in the fast track of energy security in Nigeria as NNPC Limited signs MOU on Ibom Solution, a full-service onshore base for marine construction support. Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom Emmanuel, who witnessed the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding, promised total support and commitment from the people and the state towards the success of the project. Lydia Sampson reports.
This Memorandum of Understanding is sealed by the caliber of representatives of the parties signing the deal. It is for a proposed full-service onshore base for marine construction support to be located on a 40 square kilometer site on the Ibaka-Calabar River waterway to the sea confluence in Nigeria. Key players are optimistic that when on stream, it will support the attainment of energy security for the country, in addition to creating employment opportunities.
Actionable and bankable private sector-led offshore location base that will transform the logistic infrastructure of Akwa Ibom State, which will be beneficial to the entire nation.
Our commitment to the Ibom Solution Hub signals to potential investors and business partners that NNPC Limited indeed means business.
And give you 100% reassurance that will be a very hitch-free, nobody will disturb this project at all. Hindrance will never come from the community, will not come from the state, will not come from Akwa Ibom people.
For us, we see an opportunity to bring development closer to where we operate.
And we believe that this project, if conscientiously executed, will support the overall objective of domiciling local content in country.
It is designed to be an alternative to existing logistics, meant to offer the offshore construction support to the West and Central African regions. Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
To health, Governor Simon Lalong says his administration will sustain partnership with the private sector in the provision of quality healthcare services to the people. This was while inaugurating a 50-bed capacity hospital at Kwampan local government area, donated to the community by one of its illustrious sons, Godfrey Peters Bawa. Alisa Batu Kai Andrew reports.
In view of the need to improve the healthcare of his people, an illustrious son of Kwande built and donated an ultra-modern hospital equipped with state-of-the-art facility. Gomei's sons and daughters trooped out in their numbers to receive the donor, a worthy son of the land. Miss Godfrey Peters Bawa Shutgrum.
I want to thank this family for the blessing that has been on them, and which they have also passed on to their fatherland.
I pray that God will let her live long, both our husband.
I thank God too much for the thing when He do for me.
I feel satisfied that, after we serve God, we serve humanity.
We came to our community and we saw that the primary health care was not enough.
The Gomei chiefdom, among other dignitaries, appreciated the donor for such a laudable project. The facility is named after the parents of the donor, Peter Bawa and Anna Memorial Hospital, Kwandi. In Jos, Alisa Butkai Andrew, NTA News.
This is the network news on NTA. Let's head to Lagos for more reports, and Michael will dish them out. Hello, Michael.
Thank you, Elizabeth. The federal government will not relent in supporting research in order to develop homegrown solutions to address health challenges facing the country, like monkeypox, COVID-19, Lassa, and yellow fevers. Minister of State for Health, Joseph Ekumankama, reiterated this during a working visit to the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research, NIMA. Hinginojan Adams reports.
NIMA Research, Innovation and Product Development Policy being presented to the Minister of State for Health. The document is expected to change the narrative of overdependence on importation of treatment and diagnostic equipment. Another important presentation to the minister is the monkeypox test kit, a brainwork of researchers in the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research, NIMA, all geared towards government's effort in inventing homegrown solutions as well as ensuring timely and effective response to public health challenges in the country.
With such facilities we have seen here and the good work that Professor Saloka and his team are doing, we can best be sure that even Nigeria is emerging strong in terms of tackling challenges, like diseases, viruses that we know of and which we may not know.
The first step in controlling an outbreak is to be able to detect the case. And that's why we have focused now on creating kits for many of the diseases that are ravaging Nigeria.
This latest invention by Nigeria's Apex Medical Research Institute will improve monkeypox case detection which will go a long way in containing outbreaks.
This kit is highly effective. The sensitivity is 95% and the specificity is 100%.
The minister also inspected some facilities, including the newly built Clinical Trial Center and Emerging Viral Diseases Laboratory in Lagos. Hinginu John Adams, NTA News.
The lifespan and monetary value of thousands of infrastructure and assets offshore West Africa are threatened by corrosion, and as prelude to cutting losses and preserve for longer years, key players in the industry are suggesting incorporating corrosion management awareness strategy throughout the lifespan of any assets. Just as death is inevitable, corrosion failure is imminent for any metal. In fact, there are staggering statistics to corrosion, such that the International Measures of Prevention, Application and Economics of Corrosion Technology Study estimates the global cost of corrosion to be $2.5 trillion, an equivalent of 3.4% of the world's GDP as of 2013. Beyond economic losses, there are concerns about the safety and damage to the environment as a result of corrosion. The starting point to managing this trend, stakeholders say, is by taking a cue from a workable strategy. With many fleets under its control for operational deployment, the Nigerian Navy says corrosion management must not be treated in isolation, but should form part of wider organization management decision.
A lot of the time, a ship is alongside. The major preoccupation of the sailors is to look for where it's bad, chip it immediately, apply red oxide, and then you paint it. And even when you go to sea and come back, you wash down.
For managing oil facility installations, corrosion failures, cathodic protection is one of the ones used in managing, which complements coating.
The conversation to deepening corrosion management, stakeholders agree, must be more forceful with training and regulation by governments.
Everyone should be engaged in being conscious about this issue, and especially the government. The government therefore should take it upon itself that people who violate corrosion regulation laws should be brought to the book.
With the debates generated, it is the belief of key players that the days of losses incurred from lack of corrosion management will soon be over. Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Time for some messages. The news continues shortly. Please stay.
Thanks for staying with us. A digital economy industry working group that will harmonize public and private sector activities to drive growth of the industry has been inaugurated by the Communications and Digital Economy Minister. Chimdima Undubisi reports that this was one of the major activities as the Digital Nigeria Conference hosted by NITDA comes to an end.
Some of these areas of concentration for this group are to form a communication link between the public and private sectors to drive digital economy policies and strategies, just as it formulates mechanisms that will stimulate increased growth and investments in digital economy, especially this time that Nigeria's global ranking on ease of doing business has moved up 39 places since processes were digitized within these 3 years.
Nigeria has been ranked within these years twice among the top 10 most performing countries globally. We have initiated and implemented over 160 reforms when it comes to the ease of doing business.
This stance is to stabilize innovators, the likes of 24-year-old Shadrach, who are potential employers, with citizens training on cutting-edge, high-demand digital technological skills. These are some other results achieved as the country digitizes government and private sector activities. The Digital Nigeria Conference, however, ended on this promissory note. In Abuja, Chimdima Undubisi, NTA News.
And our businessman, Benny Adams, is here to break down some figures from the capital market for us. Benny, let's talk business.
Thank you, Lizzie. Welcome to business. I will start by telling you that ECOWAS and the European Union are partnering to make more businesses from the West African sub-region acceptable and competitive in the international market. To this end, the European Union and partners are committing 120 million euros with a view to improve performance, growth, and contribution to industry under the African Competitiveness Program of the ECOWAS.
We know how important it is that our products, our businesses are able to produce products of quality that are affordable not only for the national, the regional, but for the international market.
So we are looking here in particular at mango, cassava, textiles and garments, and ICT to achieve greater economic integration in the region. Better competitiveness within the region, within Africa, and
on the capital markets, the value of Nigeria's listed stocks decreased by about 2.5 trillion naira in October as transactions remains bearish. At the end of transaction of the last week, have traded on the exchange a total of 122.7 million shares in 3,402 deals, corresponding to a market value of 4.3 billion naira were traded. Compared with the previous trading day, today's data shows 19% decline in volume, 183% improvement in turnover, and 13% improvement in deals. The current market capitalization is 23.9 trillion naira. Fidelity Bank recorded the highest volume of 15 million traded shares, followed by EcoBank Transnational 10.4 million, Transcorp Nigeria 9.14 million, and MTN Nigeria 9.12 million. That is business news. Elizabeth, it's nice doing business with you.
Thank you so much, Benny. The Northeast Development Commission has donated food and non-food items to Bauchi State Government for onward distribution to victims of flood disaster in the state. Mahmoud Mohammed reports.
This is the handover of food and non-food items to Bauchi State Government by the Northeast Development Commission. These items include rice, vegetable oil, mats, blankets, and clothing materials. Managing Director of the Northeast Development Commission, Mohammed Goni, says, the NEDC is committed towards providing support to victims of humanitarian crisis. The Managing Director of the NEDC also led the Commission's management on a courtesy visit to Governor Bala Muhammad, where the Governor commended the Commission and its mother ministry for rolling out life-impacting projects in the Northeast.
On our part, sir, you can recall immediately the flood incident started, we wrote a letter to the state government to see how we can synergize to contain the situation and provide preventive measures in the future.
Northeast Development Commission is one of the legacies Mr. President will leave behind for Nigeria. It is one of the best institutions created in order to deepen institutionalization of initiatives.
In Bauchi, Mahmoud Muhammad, NTA News.
Away from humanitarian gestures, the Nigerian military and the Japanese government, with support from the UNDP, are equipping African armed forces with requisite knowledge on how to secure their maritime domain, especially the Gulf of Guinea. This was the focus of a capacity building workshop organized by the Martin Luther Agwai International Leadership Center on Anti-Piracy for African Military. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
This is the moment these military officers have been waiting for, the end of a 3-week course on anti-piracy, organized by the Martin Luther Agwai International Leadership and Peacekeeping Center. The course is meant to promote cooperation among the participating African countries.
We have been enlightening on the relevant laws relating to International Maritime Organization, United Nations Convention on the Laws of Sea, and importance of other interventions, such as the Deep Blue project we have in Nigeria here.
Gulf of Guinea member states, we must strengthen our partnership to fight piracy.
The Gulf of Guinea, which was notorious for piracy, has experienced relative peace. Sustaining the peace is one of the goals these military officers will be seeking to achieve.
Economic and trade relations between Nigeria and Japan will further expand in the future. Therefore, it is necessary to ensure maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea and important trade routes in West Africa and to promote bilateral trade.
But the stakes are higher as consolidating the peace is in itself a challenge. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Let's take a break, and when we return, sports will be up. Thank you, Austin. Have you noticed the weather is gradually changing? What would it look like tomorrow? Let's find out.
Glad you could join us. My name is Joyce Ogunleye with the weather forecast. In the next couple of days, we expect significant rise in daytime temperatures, especially over the north and the north-central region of the country. So Saturday morning appears to be fine weather-wise, with lots of sunshine over the northern region. To the southern cities, we expect to see much cloud build-up in the inland areas and much cloudiness over the coastal belt of the country, which is expected to give rise to some thunderstorms to parts of Imo, Edo, Ondo, and Ekiti, extending to the coastal parts of Delta, Cross River, Rivers, and Bayelsa State in the late afternoon into evening hours. Now let's see the air quality index forecast for Saturday. Thank you for watching.
That's the news. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to always take action against rape and rapists. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Thank you so much for your time.